Now we need certain tests in order to identify the presence of sulfuric acid, and you know that the tests are categorized under the two categories, that we have different tests to identify the dilute sulfuric acid and we have different tests to identify the concentrated sulfuric acid, right. So here we have the test for the detection of the dilute sulfuric acid. The first test is BaCl2 test, that is the barium chloride test. What we are going to do in this case, we are going to react the given substance which you are asked to identify, right. Suppose if it is a sulfuric acid, then this possible reaction will take place. So suppose we have dilute sulfuric acid, we add barium chloride to it. So what we are going to get? Obviously we are going to get BaSO4 plus HCl, right. This BaSO4 actually has the white precipitate, it stays behind. So whenever you get an acid and somebody asks you to just identify that whether it is a sulfuric acid or not, just you can say react it with barium chloride. If it leads to the formation of white precipitate that settles down, that is the BaSO4, that means it is a, you can say the given substance is a dilute sulfuric acid. And second test, you all must be familiar, the litmus test, as it is an acid. So you know that the acid has a property that it turns the blue litmus red, right. So when you will just dip the litmus paper into it, so the blue color of litmus is going to change to red. So if it changes to red, so it indicates that it is an acid. But by this test you cannot differentiate that whether it is a sulfuric acid or is it a nitric acid or it is the hydrochloric acid, because all acids give this test, right. This is a general test to identify acid, right. Now, in order to identify the concentrated sulfuric acid, what we do, we carry out the copper test, right. We react it with the copper metal. So what happens when we react with the copper metal? What do we get? We get copper oxide, we get SO2 and we get H2. Now, like as I have told you, the products are copper oxide, sulfur dioxide and H2O. So what is the identification? What identification you will feel or you will see that which just give you a reason that yes, the given substance is the sulfuric acid. The reason is that it will just evolve the gas with the pungent smell, that is the sulfur dioxide. So whenever you get a substance and somebody asks you that is it a concentrated sulfuric acid or not, so just dipped a piece of copper metal or a copper in any form into it. So what is going to happen? This is going to happen, and if the pungent smell gas just evolves, that means it is SO2. Next is chloride salt test, just to identify the concentrated sulfuric acid. So suppose the chloride salt, what I am taking is NaCl, the commonly used table salt. Now what I am adding concentrated sulfuric acid to it. So what I am going to get? I am going to get an acidic salt, and with that I am going to get the hydrochloride gas. Now how I am just going to know that this hydrochloride gas is evolved? What I am going to do, I will be taking a glass rod, I will dip in ammonia solution. Again I am repeating, I will take a glass rod, I will dip in the ammonia solution, and when I will bring that glass rod towards the beaker which contain these products, then the formation of the white dense fumes on it just indicate that the hydrogen chloride gas is present, and hydrogen chloride gas will be produced only in the case when the given substance, which substance you have got to identify is the sulfuric acid, and which sulfuric acid? Obviously the concentrated sulfuric acid. So these are actually the tests by which you can identify the dilute sulfuric acid and the concentrated one. So dilute by barium chloride test and by litmus test, concentrated by copper test and the chloride test. What is the identification property, like what you get to see when you react with barium chloride? We are left with the white precipitate due to BaSO4. And litmus, you all know it is a general test for our acid, that it changes the blue litmus red. And when we talk of the copper test, it just evolved the gas with the pungent smell, that is sulfur dioxide. And in case of this, we get hydrochloride gas. And how we can identify that hydrochloride gas? We will just bring the glass rod dipped in the ammonia solution near this beaker. The formation of the white fumes just indicate that it was the hydrogen chloride gas is evolved, and it is evolved, so that means the given substance is identified as concentrated sulfuric acid.